Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, and this is a very difficult video, and for me to make, and uh, if you know anything about, if you've been keeping up with my videos, I just say things that I experience. I tell stories about what I've experienced. Uh, I say what I'm thinking, and that's basically about it. And what's been going on now is, and what I want to talk about now is a combination of both my thinking and my experience. Like I say, I lived in China for 9 months. And then I lived in Central America and Mexico for 14 years. I've traveled in all of these places. So it's not like I'm like, okay, if I just stayed right here, right where I'm at in this little farm in Kansas, and I say, well, America is like this. That's not what I did. When I went to these places, I experienced. I normally I stay a month in one place and then a month in another place and something like that. When I was living in Guatemala, it would be the same thing. I'd spend a month in one country, a month in another. And when I'm there, I'm seeing people, I'm making friends. And there's a difference in people. And I've talked about it. And now what I'm going to talk about now doesn't, I'm not telling you about the people that I've met in other countries. And the reason is, when you're in China, or if you're in China, you basically have to be a communist. Now, I know you see on YouTube there's people there that aren't so much aren't communists, but if you want to survive there and prosper, it's much easier when you are a communist and you understand the communist way of doing things. And I understand the communist way of doing things. And my dad told me when I was a little kid, don't go to China, never go to China. And well, this was what, 50, 60 years ago. Hey, China's changed in 60 years. Now it's a rich communist, so, but what I've learned, and this is what I want to talk about, is the people here in the United States. I'm trying to, me, it's not the symptom that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about what is the problem. That's how you get good health. That also applies to a healthy country. You look for the symptoms of what's wrong, and then you back up until you find the cause and you correct the cause. And so what's going on here in the United States? What I've figured out, and this is, like I say, I'm thinking this out, I'm still trying to figure, but it looks like there's two kinds of people. Now, I'm not, notice I didn't say Americans, because some of these people are born in America, some aren't born in America, some don't have a damn thing to do with the America and American way, the American culture, American history. That's what they're getting rid of the history. The history is what makes us Americans who we are. And when you understand your history, that will give you strength and on what it is that you're doing. Okay, if you're in Mexico and you learn Mexican history and you're an American like me, that helps me understand the people there. And I admire the Mexican people. I admire everybody. Because, like I say, I know where they've come from. I do my homework. I learn somewhat about their history. So I get some idea of what it is these people are thinking, what makes them do the stuff that they do. Here in the United States, I've decided to simplify, to make things much more simple, where it's easier to understand. You have true Americans. And when I say a true American, now what makes a true American? Now, most know some history. They understand why we are Americans. They understand that we prosper and we help other nations and this type of stuff, but it's still us. It's still our household. Still our household. Hey, we like our neighbors. Wherever our neighbors are, they're way over there somewhere. And but it doesn't mean that we let the neighbors tell us how to run our lives. That's not the way it's done. And like I said, we don't like the idea of Mexico trying to tell us how we need to run America. So, so you have true Americans. And there's not even a political party. You don't even call them, Democrats or Republicans or something. That's not the case, because or independents or whatever. But what it is, I've seen the other part. You have true Americans, and you have communist, socialist type people, and that's basically what is going on here. And what the thing is, not only me, anybody can see. You can look to see who respects America and who doesn't respect America. And the ones that don't respect America, like I say, they go to the communist side, and then the Americans are on the other side. Whatever country you're from, you need to be proud of whatever country you're from. These people aren't. No. And that's because, like I say, they're communists. They want to change what makes this country what it is. Wants to change me. Oh, you're saying, oh, no, it's nothing personal like that. Well, wait, don't you want me to wear a mask? You want me to wear a seatbelt? You want me to do this? You want me to, they say stuff, but they're, well, okay, another thing, America. What makes Americans? You have to have some kind of moral thread. What I've seen in communists, they don't have morals. There's no need for morals. Morals helps you distinguish the difference between right and wrong. I mean, I can go to other countries, even though I can see it's wrong and what they're doing to their people is wrong. It's not, I'm not an agitator. I'm not going to be there protesting and doing all this kind of stuff. No, I know there is a difference. And these communists, they don't have God. They don't have a God. You want to know what's right and wrong? The leaders will tell you what's right and wrong. Another example is what's going on in Seattle now. Okay, hey, got to get rid of the police. No police. We don't need police. What happens? They get their own little area. They call the police back. The police aren't enforcing anything. They're letting them do their own thing. And what do? They start their own police. Their own police are the ones that do the security on the place. So in other words, what I've learned from that, they lie. You can't trust them. And they want power. And with this power, what are they going to do with this power? I don't know. But you can go to China or other communist countries, and you can look and see what have they done. And for you to say, no, they're not, they're just Black Lives Matter. Okay, no, that's one of the organizations that fall under the communist mentality. It's the same thing. This is why you hear me talk so much about draining the swamp. We have to get moral people in office. We have to, because you can see what happens when you have immoral people. Uh, Look at the mayors, the county commissioners, the governor, and stuff like that. You can see the ones that are immoral. Uh, Tell me, come tell me that they're not immoral. That's what I'm saying. That's what's hard about making this video. Trying to figure out. Now, I can pinpoint everything that makes it look like they're immoral. But it takes more than that. Like I say, you judge people by the way they act. And you see the ones in power. Look, what have they done? They think they are in power of us. They don't realize we gave them the power not to rule us, to function over us. But they think they're above the law. This is what's happened. That's why there's so much corruption and stuff going on. That's why we need to drain the swamp. Now, it's worse than that. And I haven't talked about it. And the reason I haven't talked about it is I haven't figured out a solution. But it's big business is the one that they're the ones that kind of pick who's going to be running for different offices and stuff like that. If the big companies don't want you in there, you're not going to be in there. They're the ones that kind of nudge the right people to get in office, and those right people answer to them directly or indirectly. Like say the parties off, they get money from different corporations. These corporations is what. Wait a minute. No, I'm going into something else. I'm not going to tell you anymore. But like I say, the problem is much worse. But there is something we can do, and I've laid it out. I've got hundreds of videos. Matter of fact, thousands of videos. And I'm going to one little piece at a time, and all this helps you be strong. Because I'll tell you, one thing I've learned, there's a lot of weak Americans. They haven't studied their history. They really haven't gone in to understanding what makes us Americans. So that's all I'm saying. So remember, look at everything as an American or a communist. When the flag is shown, the American flag is up, who salutes? Who salutes the flag? Those are the Americans. They understand what that flag represents. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.